So I've studied Eastern philosophy for about um, 10 years, and I've had quite a bit of meditation experience. So I would say that, I have some authority, I guess you could say, to speak on the subject, though everybody has to find it out for themselves. But I think that sometimes teachers, they kind of confuse the two, or they teach as if you only should have the experience of the absolute, which is that there is no body. Um, Basically, the world doesn't exist anymore. There's no more free will. There's no more self. You always feel perfect or good. Um, and they have that idea, I think, as like a kind of absolute enlightenment. Now, I have had a lot of samadhis, and they they always feel good. It's great to have, but they don't last, and then you come back into the world. So I'm not sure why teachers say as if there's only the absolute, or they try to speak from that position. Maybe to teach people that such a state is possible, and maybe after 10 years and a lot of meditation experience and samadhi, I don't have, maybe I still have a kind of limited experience of like enlightenment or knowledge about the subject, but I don't know if that's true. I would lean towards, I think I know what I'm talking about, though it's hard to say in a sort of definitive sense. There's more that I can experience, but I think I have a good grasp of how reality is. And maybe sometimes these teachers say those things to give the impression that they're special, that they are farther than you, and that you then should listen to them. You should take their advice. They are a kind of perfect guru. Maybe even there's some worshipping going on. Or, of course, often it is their job, so they make money with how much views they get, or people giving them money because they think that they're maybe special, or because they help others. So maybe that is the reason. If I were to say, no, I don't experience a body really anymore, for me it's only limitless light, and I always feel perfect, and I've dissolved completely. Maybe that is possible, but in my experience, those disappearings into the absolute or deep meditation are just temporary, as great as it is. And I would encourage people to explore that, meditate, and stuff like that. Otherwise, I think you're going to be missing out on a lot of peace and nice experiences, but you will also um, be scared, probably, because you think that you're limited to just being this body. So, this is the relative. So, in the relative, you experience that you have a body, you experience a kind of free will or intelligence that um, that the thoughts that you can analyze, you can maybe choose kind of direction to which your intelligence is focusing. You analyze things, you make choices. That's what I would define as free will. Although many would argue that there isn't that free will. I would argue that we do experience it, so it's probably real, but it's probably also limited. So you wake up and there's a limited world where you have to maybe do certain things and things that call your attention. But within that, you know, within your own body, the kind of thoughts you cultivate or the analysis you make, the choices you make, I do feel like that part of that there is a free will in that. So you experience being separate from everything. Your body is not the same as all the other stuff. You think, you experience things, so you grow as a being, as an intellect, um, as a body too. Um, Beginnings and endings. There's emotions, there's personal love, there may be like synchronicity. That's part of the world as well. And there can be harmony or disharmony, and maybe truth or lies. So that is the ordinary world, and everybody knows that. But then, when you go deep into meditation, you can experience being nobody, being limitless. empty, no experiences, no nothing, no body, no point of view, no sense of self, no sense of location so much, just a kind of oasis or a field or beingness of like subtle light or emptiness. It's openness. There's no content. There can be thoughts that arise, but this still belongs to the world. It has no thoughts, and there can be no thoughts. There's no self or sense of identity. It's just silence, nothingness, peace. There's maybe some sense of light. Just nothingness, and it always feels good, and there's always peace. I wouldn't say there's like love there or even compassion there, because there's simply nobody. It is simply the void of the world. So peace and or love or compassion still belong to the relative world. And it always feels good, I would say. I've never had an experience that it doesn't feel good. You can, of course, experience maybe sometimes some stress or stuff in meditation, but that's still belonging to your body. That's not really in deep meditation. So yeah, and I don't think, and you can experience that simply in deep meditation. And when you are alive again or functioning well, it is there like in the background, and you maybe have to try harder to notice it. But it can still be there. So I think this is good to understand because sometimes people may think, well, I don't always experience pure, happiness or peace. I wouldn't say that the emotion of happiness is so much something of deep meditation, but it can be there. It kind of depends. It doesn't matter because it's peaceful anyways, so you don't need to be happy, which may actually be somewhat of a profound truth that most people don't even realize, that you don't need happiness if you're simply at peace with deep meditation or the nothingness. So yeah, this is, I think, useful, and I think that some people may think that if they still sometimes experience the world and emotions and they don't always experience this 100%. That means that they're just not good enough. They're just not enlightened. They're just, they still don't know enough of this, and they're suffering, blah blah blah, which are all just thoughts that you have about yourself that don't really have anything to do with the absolute as pure consciousness. So if you know that no, if you live in the relative world, you will have a body, you will experience separation, you will experience all these things, and that's normal. That's how it should be. That's what life is. That's what manifest life is. And it can be a lot of fun. It can be great, loving people or good experiences, um, eating, etc. Everything. It is what it is. But that will never go away. As long as if you're not in deep meditation, you will be in the world, and you will have those things. Then yes, you can go into deep meditation and you can enjoy that and have a break from life, and it's just great. But I don't think there will ever come a point where there will be only this and never any this. That's just not how it is in my experience. So you can have a lot of this if you meditate a lot. If you, yeah, if you go completely into deep meditation, there is only this. There's none of this. So this is absolute, always the case. But then you later come out of it and you go experience your life again to some degree, and then you go back into like deep sleep, or if you are more conscious, then you can be more conscious of like the deep sleep state, which is the same as deep meditation. So that's basically it. So don't think that you're not good enough if you don't experience this, that you're lesser than a person who does. That makes absolutely no sense. There's no guru, because also here you don't even experience being anyone. There's no sense of I'm better or worse. That's just more thoughts that belong to the thinking. So that is my sharing, and I hope that people don't think that they're not good enough, or they're not like enlightened or delight or peace or space if they sometimes experience this. No, you will experience this also. And you can experience this in deep meditation or in the background when you are alive. I don't know, and I don't think that there will be a point where there's only this. But maybe it can become like more even more. I don't know, but that's the kind of desire that kind of keeps you away from just being as you are as consciousness. So that's sharing. And I hope that everybody has a life filled with love and also filled with enough meditation that you get to enjoy this, you know, often, at least sometimes. That's good. If you never experience it, that would be. I think that's normal in the West or in the. I don't know. I think that's normal if you never experience this kind of stuff or very little, because you just don't practice being aware of it. But that is not so peaceful, I think. I think you should experience this every day, some at least like once a day, like maybe when you go to sleep or in the morning or when you lay in bed at least or sit by yourself. So this is highly useful, I would say, highly useful information. So I wish you the best. Good luck.